The ongoing war in Ukraine, traffic's resumed on the Kerch Bridge. This links Russia and the occupied Crimean Peninsula after Ukraine said it had sabotaged that crossing. Of course, Russia is saying that that bridge linking Crimea has reopened, but just talking about what Ukraine did in order to get explosives underwater, it seems that Ukraine is being increasingly audacious. A massive underwater explosion that Ukraine says it has been planning for months by placing explosives under the bridge to try to damage its foundation.
2 Ukrainian drones faced off against an entire wave of Russian drones. But instead of being overwhelmed, they turned one of Russia's most fortified bridges into a catastrophic weakness. The Tata River crossing was rigged with 30 anti-tank mines, machine gun nests and jammers, designed to trap anyone daring to attack. So how did a pair of low-cost drones slip past all that firepower and bring the structure down in seconds?
New video shows the moment Ukraine claims it detonated a powerful bomb under a key Russian bridge to Crimea. The attack comes hours after peace talks between the two countries fell apart. Meanwhile, Russia's launching new strikes of its own.
The security service has now released this video showing what it says is a powerful explosive device detonating under this bridge that Russia built to Crimea.
Ukraine's military says at least 7 people are dead and close to 50 are injured in the latest attacks in Ukraine.
The answer reveals a lesson about modern warfare that no amount of heavy weapons could prevent. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now back to the video. On the maps, the Tata Bridge looked like the soft spot in Russia's defenses. A clean stretch of road crossing a narrow river, linking supply trucks to the southern front. To a planner sitting miles away, seemed exposed and easy. But when Ukrainian scouts came within visual range, they realized it was nothing of the sort. The bridge had been transformed into a layered trap, where anyone who tried to strike it from the ground or the air would meet fire, explosives, and jamming until nothing remained.
Ukraine also posted a picture showing the road top, which appeared not to have been particularly damaged, but Ukraine claiming that the struts of the bridge underwater were badly damaged. That surprise and stunning drone operation that hit Russian airfields over the weekend. And so Ukraine clearly here trying to hit Russia again with another powerful psychological blow. Russia so far has not spoken publicly about it at all. The bridge was closed for at least 2 hours, but in just the last few minutes, they're saying that they have now reopened it.
It wasn't simply a crossing. It was a fortress designed to bleed attackers dry. The first discovery came beneath the surface. Infantry detected a faint line in the dirt reaching down to the pilings. They followed it with long-range optics and then confirmed it with drones. Buried along the approach, lined in 2 staggered rows, were 30 TM-62 anti-tank mines, each wired not to pressure plates, but to remote detonation boxes tucked under steel casings. If a single vehicle rolled out of place, Russian operators could trigger them with one command, unleashing a blast equivalent to half a ton of TNT. A tank would be torn in half, armored carriers thrown onto their sides. For any Ukrainian column, one wrong step meant annihilation before even reaching the bridge deck. As if that weren't enough, Russian engineers had stitched overlapping fields of fire across the entire 10-mile artery leading in. MG-3 machine guns, firing at 1,200 rounds per minute, were hidden in reinforced pillboxes on both banks. From one position alone, a crew could pin down an entire company. To support them, several Ural trucks fitted with anti-drone jammers stood camouflaged under netting. To the human eye, nothing betrayed them, no glint or movement. But Ukrainian scouts flying low on thermal sensors caught their heat signatures bleeding through the camouflage, revealing towers of electronic noise ready to blind the skies. The combination of firepower turned armor into dead weight. In theory, tanks could crush through obstacles. In practice, stepping onto that road meant straying into kill zones where every arc intersected and every shot mattered. An armored advance would last no longer than the first barrage. Troops on foot had it even worse. Mines waited beneath them. Drones above them would face interference. Guns in concrete nests could fire endless belts of rounds. The trap was not a single wall, but a series of invisible doors that slammed shut one by one. And yet there was a crack. Russian guards at each section did not hold post indefinitely. Observation logs showed a pattern, 15 minutes on, then a rotation. For those brief intervals, one nest would swap crews, another would scan less intently, giving away a narrow window. It wasn't enough time to march soldiers through, but it was enough to record and build a clock. The challenge shifted from brute force into precision, moving only when the defenders blinked. Intelligence flights became the key. Ukrainian drones mapped mine placements under cover of night, creeping low enough to capture thermal shadows between the buried charges. Measurements showed each unit lay roughly 20 feet apart, far too even to notice from the ground, but painfully clear from above. This rhythm gave engineers a sense of where not to tread, sketching a grid of death across the riverbank. Now the map showed more than a bridge. It showed a puzzle of spaces where survival was possible, threading between certain destruction. But even armed with that knowledge, any slip remained intolerable. Press too close, and a 500-pound detonation would engulf everything nearby. Any commanding officer knew what that meant, losing not just machines but veteran soldiers, the very men trained to carry the war forward. That was the trade-off. Destruction of the bridge would suffocate resupply convoys and delay artillery shells moving south. Failing meant erasing some of Ukraine's best fighters for nothing gained. One road determined whether food, fuel, and ammunition reached Russia's entrenched front, or whether they were stranded in mud along a 60-mile detour. The scouts finally pieced the fragments together. They had the grid of mines, the cycle of guards, the positions of jammers, and the weak moments when MG3 crews adjusted belts and barrels. What had looked suicidal now took the shape of a solvable game board. With the right pieces moved at the right time, opportunity existed where none had before. It was no less dangerous, but it was no longer impossible. So the question became sharp. How do you tear down a fortress assembled from explosives, overlapping fields of fire, and electronic walls? Armed with nothing more than 2 low-cost drones, machines cheaper than a compact car? The collapse of the Tata Bridge proved that the battle wasn't about raw firepower. It was the product of precision, timing, and deception used against a fortress built to be untouchable. A pair of drones worth less than $4,000 cut a supply chain that had cost Russia millions to defend. Suddenly, convoys faced a 60-mile detour through fields and mud, where delays turned into shortages. The strike showed how technology reshaped the balance, replacing armor with intelligence. If 2 small machines can cripple a bridge like this, imagine entire campaigns run by swarms. That future is already forming.